Hello everyone, and welcome to the preview show for the playoffs. Sad to say, Patriots Dynasty 55, yours truly, will not be holding this guy for another year. I'm gonna miss you, buddy. Gonna miss you. It's okay, don't cry. It's okay. Excuse me. Anyway. The guy's fighting it out. Boston Rob, as we kind of figured out a couple weeks ago, was going to get in. Multiple scoregasms. Found himself a playoff spot, even though he tried really not to get in there. If Fighting Irish had won his last game, multiple scoregasms, who looked like a lock to get into playoffs because he had such a good record early on, wouldn't have gotten in. Wow. He actually ended up having to settle for the 4th seed. Boston Rob got the 1st seed, 2 games ahead of anybody else. In fact, all 2nd, 3rd, and 4th were all 8 and 6. As is the case pretty much every year, 8 and 6. You go 8 and 6, you pretty much get in. It's just the way it works. Sometimes 7 and 7 you get in, but I mean 8 and 6 is like the 10 and 6 of the NFL, of course, unless you're the 2008 New England Patriots, go 11 and 5 and somehow don't make it in. We won't get into that. We won't start there. Anyway, so in the most intriguing matchup of last week, you had Cinderella Man himself trading down for the trophy, making his first playoff appearance. That's right. There were 2 histories made this year. Number 1, Patriots Dynasty 55 did make it for the first time ever. Number 2, trading down for the trophy, made it for the first time ever. So, wow. Pretty impressive. Cinderella Man himself. An unbelievable finish, too. I don't know if any of you saw what happened, but trading down for the trophy was down by, I think, about 11 or 12 points with Frank Gore in and going against, obviously, Return to Greatness, who he's playing again this week in a rematch, who had Antrell Roll in. And so, in other words, Gore had to get at least like 12 more points than Roll, and Gore, obviously, I think he had like 100 yards at the half. Got a touchdown late in the game. It was like very close. It was like less than a point away in the 4th quarter at one point, and Gore got a touchdown, and that's pretty much what did it. If Return to Greatness had won the game, instead of Mini Rubinaccio getting in, it would have been Senior Rubinaccio getting in, and he actually played Percy Harvin, who was inactive for the game. So that was a big managing mistake right there. I was a little unimpressed by that. It wasn't a crucial game for Return to Greatness, but there were some implications. I mean, he could have gotten 1st seed if he had won, and yours truly had beaten Boston Rob. He would have gotten 1st seed. So I mean, he was playing for something. He was playing for 100, bones. So I mean, but whatever. We won't get into the fact that yours truly, even though he's the best manager in the league, is sitting at home. Freaking Tomlinson, Jones, Drew, Sims, Walker. God damn it. Anyway. So here we are, playoffs, week 1, only 2 weeks. It's kind of, when you get into the playoffs, it's almost like, oh my god, there's so much going on. You're in the playoffs, Vinny. This is like your first time ever, but it goes really quick. It's almost depressing when it's over because it's just so quick, and you don't have. It's kind of like what Billy Beane used to say of the MLB playoffs. Billy Beane in Moneyball, they used to write how. I mean, he's such a good general manager. He knew how to put together a team to last through a year, but he didn't know how to put together a team to win in the playoffs because he said it's a crapshoot. I mean, you put together the best team, but sometimes the best team doesn't always win in such short sample size. So it can be tough. Sometimes a fluke wins, aka Mike Weiss 2 straight years. But yeah. Anyway. So, here we are, week 1 of the playoffs. We got Boston Rob going against multiple scoregasms, or Pat Sam, as he used to be called. These guys always play each other tight. If in fact, let me give you my power rankings right now. If I had to make power rankings, I would say number 1, you've got Boston Rob. He's just been tearing it up lately. His receivers have been unstoppable. Quarterbacks are pretty inconsistent. If he gets good weeks out of his quarterbacks, he's going to put together a good week. He's got 2 great tight ends. I mean, he's got Heath Miller, touchdown machine, and Vernon Davis, who's just, completely resurrected his career this year. So he's my number 1. My number 2 is return to greatness. He started off very hot in the middle of the year. Towards the end, he kind of faded a little bit. He should have been. I mean, he was my number 1 for a while, but he definitely faded. I'll give him my number 2 spot. Number 3 is the recently talked about trading down for the trophy. I'm giving him the slight edge. 3 and 4, I think, is very close. But he's number 3. He's been hot. He's been getting it done when it matters. He's been managing his team pretty well this year. He's been, he impressed me this year. He's definitely done things a little differently. He hasn't been as crazy as usual. He's led obviously by his 2 quarterbacks, Breeze and Rivers, and then Gore's his stud running back. His receivers have been a little inconsistent, but he's been getting some numbers out of them lately, and he's gonna need to continue to. Number 4, I'm going to give to Pat Skins, Senior Rubinaccio. Definitely, probably should have been in the playoffs. Managed his team poorly a couple weeks. I think he benched, like Calvin Johnson when he was inactive or something, a couple weeks here and there. Although he did get lucky 1 week against LaFrance Trojans. LaFrance Trojans benched a couple guys. Played a couple guys that weren't playing and stuff. Easily would have won. So, you are what you are, as Bill Parcells once said. So he's my number 4. My number 5 is yours truly. A borderline playoff team. That's really all that needs to be said. Number 6, I'm going to give to Fighting Irish. Improved this year. Definitely improved this year. But still, needs to take that next step. Number 7, I give to the guy that's in the playoffs. The guy's the number 4 seed, Multiple Scoregasms. Just lost to the 8th ranked team, obviously. It's just not been very good lately. After the draft, I thought he was a great team, but he just hasn't really done that much to his team. He really hasn't made that many changes. He hasn't improved. Everybody's improved along the year, and obviously the number 1 guy that's improved along the year is Boston Rob. I mean, getting Miles Austin and Sidney Rice and Heath Miller and Vernon Davis off the waiver wire, that is insane. Unbelievable. So, yeah, I mean, Scoregasm's usually, he's done things, but nothing big, nothing of really big note. He got Steve Smith, I think, early on, and he kind of faded too. He stood pat too much. I thought he had some opportunities to make some deals. I think at the beginning of the year, I was looking at his team, and I was like, wow, this guy's stacked at running back. McGahee is like his 5th, and McGahee was scoring touchdowns every week. Should have traded the guy. I mean, should have traded somebody, but he just stood pat, and that's why he is where he is right now. And then number 8, obviously, LaFrance Trojans. Huge disappointment after his great year last year. But, okay, let's get on to the playoffs. So, we've got, in the first matchup, we've got Boston Rob against Multiple Scoregasms. I think this is like, Boston Rob should win in a landslide. However, whenever these guys play each other, it's always tight. Always tight. Week 1, it was like, I think it was less than a point. These guys have played each other, I think, literally like 4 times. I'd have to look it up. I'm not going to right now. But I feel like it's been like 4 or 5 times where it's literally been within like 3 points. Back in 2000 and the year I won. Let me check the trophy. Oh, yeah. The first year I won. Back in 2005. In the playoffs, the first round, they played each other, and it came down to the Monday night game. Boston Rob had Todd Heap, was down by like 10 points, and Todd Heap, had to get a touchdown. He got one. He won by like 3 or 4 points or something. I mean, these guys just always always play each other tight. In fact, I'm probably going to be changing